All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing some more work on the Subaru. Today we are going to put in the new power steering rack. I just got one on Amazon. I think it's from Detroit Axle, so let's hope that it's good. I got this side done already with the tie rod out, and that's what we're working on right now. Over here, just taking the pin out and all that, and then once we do that, we have to disconnect the line, take out the center tray, like catch plate thing that's on the bottom of these. It's like that plate right there. I can't really point it to you, but right there. And then disconnect it from the steering shaft, disconnect the lines that run to the power steering fluid, and then should come right out. And then we just right back in with the new one. So let's get on to that. Always make sure that your steering wheel is straight and not all over the place when you do that. That way you know that your steering and that your wheels are centered. That way that you know that your steering rack is dead center, or like wherever it holds to the rack itself. All right, step one is done. So let's get underneath the car and start getting in there. I don't think I can really film it. It's kind of a hard place to film, so I'll get back to you guys when that's done. Alrighty, so right now I've got the rack down. So all you got to do that is there's two sides like this, or two brackets like this. It's two 14 mils. Like I said, before you do that, you got this cover that sits just right here where these two holes are, and they're just 410 mils. Then you got these two 14s. There's gonna be one on each side. The bracket's just over there. Because I took it off the rack. This one I think stays on. Well, you could probably pull that off. And then after that, you just remove this like return line, this either side, it doesn't really matter. And then there's a 10 mil up in here, like where these lines feed up, they'll shoot upwards towards the passenger side. And there'll be a 10 mil bracket right there too. And then you're gonna come over to the steering shaft. And you should be able to just go right over the axle, and that's a 12 mil bolt. And then once you do that, you kind of twist and pull the rack down, and you can get to this line right here, this nut right here, which is a 14, and mine was pretty loose. Not loose enough to leak out of, but loose enough that it wasn't super hard and I didn't have to like strip it. A crow's foot would work pretty good right there. But yeah, so I have to get this off, pull the hard lines to the side, or pull the hard line and this soft line right here to the side, and then I can pull, twist it some more, pull the steering shaft or the steering column this way, and then down, and then back out. And yeah, so let's do that. Alrighty, well, here it is, the old shitty rack. As you can see, this boot's fucking far gone, and it's been like that for shit as long as I can remember on the car, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's finally time for this thing to go. Obviously you can see how disgusting it is. I don't imagine that this thing's ever been replaced It's not something that you would usually replace unless it was giving you problems. And this car has 260,000 miles, so I think it was finally time. So here's the new one. So what you got to do before you do that is put it all the way one way, mark it, and then count how many turns it takes to get to the other side, and then cut that in half, and then you should have your center of your rack. So you got to do that before you put it in. So let's do that now. This had 3 turns from one side to the other, so I just marked it and then split it down the middle, 1.5. And yeah, now as you can see, it doesn't have tie rods on it. I do have brand new tie rods, so we don't have to worry about that. It's just less stuff, to be honest, for us to worry about as we put it in, less space that we have to deal with. So yeah, let's get this shoved into the car. So the easiest way is to put it under and then push this side up, the passenger side up, and then push the driver's side out. That way you can clear the steering column, the steering shaft. So that's what I'm gonna do. Don't forget your brackets. Next up, we have to do our new tie rods. So pretty much the easiest way to do it is just try to get it as straight as you can. Get your fucking hub as straight as you can, and then put it on that and keep your steering wheel straight, and that'll be as close as you can get it to being aligned in this state. So let's do that now. Alrighty, now that we have both of those done, actually I'm gonna put some power steering fluid in the reservoir. That way it can at least be somewhat like it has some kind of fluid in it while I'm turning it, because I'm going to see if the distance from side to side is the same. So I'm gonna do the same exact thing that I did originally with the rack, but let's see. Ooh, look at that. But I'm gonna just do it with the steering wheel. So I'm gonna go all the way to one side, count how many turns it takes to get to the other side. So let's fill this up. Oh, a little too much fluid there. So let's come over here. Steering wheel stayed mostly straight. And then, so 1 and like 1/4. So this should be center. 1 and a little more, but it's not too bad. So I'm gonna go back and forth for a little bit and hopefully get a little bit in the system, and then I'm going to start the car and actually drain it. So I keep saying let's do this. So I'm gonna move on to the next step, get this thing done. That way, hopefully it drives straight and not like trash when I turn to the right. All right, gang, back in the garage. I ain't gonna lie to you, I have no idea where I left off last when I was putting the new power steering rack in this thing. I want to say that I stopped right before I started to bleed it, but I don't even remember. It's been like a week and a half now. But I got the car up on jack stands right now because the next thing that I have to do is I have to bleed all 4 corners. So when I put the new Cadillac brakes on this side, the hard line snapped. I think I said that in my last video, I'm not sure. But yeah, the hard line snapped and I had to wait for a kit so I can reflare it, and that was like a week or so later. And I've tried just bleeding the front brakes, but what I think is going on is that all 4 corners lost or got air in the system, like in their lines. So I think I just have to go through and bleed all the brakes because I'm not, my pressure is still pretty shit. So I'm just gonna go through and bleed all 4 corners and hopefully that'll fix it. So yeah, also this Civic's not mine. Don't think I got a new build. I would tell you guys if I got a new build, but I'm gonna get on that right now and hopefully that fixes the problem and this thing will be drivable soon, because that's virtually the only thing left. I've been talking to my tuner and he says that there's a vacuum leak possibly, but I've tested this thing like 4 times. I've smoke tested it twice and I've pressure tested it twice and I cannot find a leak. So hopefully nothing serious is going on, but I don't know. Let's get to try to make this thing work. All right, guys, so it's done. I bled all 4 corners and right now it's just in there idling, trying to get to operating temp so I can see what my vacuum is. I got it done, but the pressure still doesn't feel great. I'm not really sure why it's like that. I'm wondering if maybe, I don't even really know, to be honest with you. It just is the way it is. I still have a pretty sizable gap between the floor and the pedal. Geez, sorry. But like I said, like as soon as I press it, it still feels really soft until it hits that stopping point, and then it's firm from there. But honestly, I'm not really sure what's up with it. I'm gonna try to drive it around. I still have to drive it around to see if I fix that power steering issue or not. But yeah, guys, hopefully that's just kind of how it goes, or I can get somebody to actually help me do this sometime this weekend or something like that. But I'm gonna put the wheels back on the car and then I'm gonna pull the Honda out, try to drive it around, and then I'll report back to you guys with what happens.
Psych! That's the wrong number!
All right, guys, well, part 2 of trying to drive this thing. The brakes aren't awful, but as you can see by this heat mark right here and the wonkiness, is somehow baking my fender. Literally no idea why or how, but it did. So hopefully I can hammer it out or something But also, new power steering rack, makes no noise, steers perfect, still shakes. So I'm not really sure what it is that's causing that anymore. The only other thing I could think is, I literally have no idea. Maybe my wheels are unbalanced or something. Maybe, I have no idea. But hopefully I can get it figured out. Maybe it's my rear toe or something causing this thing to walk crazy as hell when I go right. But at this point, I have literally no clue what it could be. So fortunately, I'm gonna have to leave this one as another sad conclusion, but I'm just not sure what's going on with the car right now, why it's doing what it's doing. So if anybody has any idea, please feel free to drop a comment, but that's where we're gonna end this one. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.